So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I have two members from the band Patchwork. They're a thrash metal band from Illinois. So, first of all, how are you guys today?
Very good. Doing great. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing great. So, you guys are in Illinois. So, tell me your name and what you do in the band.
Good, Dave.
Dave Caruana, I play drums.
And I'm Brad Carlson. I'm the guitar player in the band.
Awesome. So we have Dave and Brad with us, and the album is called Scars, and it's dropping the 16th of May.
Right.
And this is your second album, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The first one was called Exit Wounds. Came out a decade ago, actually.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, it's been a long time, but a lot of shit has happened. So I'm guessing why you took your time with it. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about, first of all, first the history of the band, how you guys got together.
Well, about 15 years
It
ago?
was 15 years ago, yes.
15 years ago, I hadn't even really touched the guitar for quite some time. We were all in bands when we were younger. And my wife had bought me a little amp, trying to inspire me to play again. And started just messing around with some riffs and got the idea actually just to play initially covers because nobody really was doing old school thrash metal, big four covers anymore. It was all different genre, new metal, and all those things. So we started off as basically a cover band playing Slayer, the big four.
Big four stuff.
With Pantera in there as well. And then I started writing some original riffs, and it just kind of instantly turned into an all original band. And got signed to the independent label there, 10, 11 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2013, 2014 we got signed to TVR.
And then released Exit Wounds, full-length album and CD and all that. And then life just kind of happened between our other guitar player and things of that nature. So this one kind of turned into Dave and I writing this one, but it's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's good that your wife actually got you an amp and didn't tell you to get another job.
Right.
She might have done that too.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool that she bought you the amp. So, so I heard influences of all those bands, but especially two bands. I don't know. I heard a lot of especially in the vocals, I heard a lot of Anthrax. But Anthrax with John Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of John Bush, which I had the pleasure of interviewing that dude on the channel.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's an awesome guy. So I heard that influence, but I also heard a lot of group Pantera style in the song. So those were the two. Correct me if I'm wrong, but those are the two influences that jump at me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely hear that too. It's so Heath's kind of a special talent. We our previous lead singer Dan Fernandez, he sang on the first album, and he's more of a straight metal singer. There's a couple good screams that he was able to belt out on Exit Wounds, but really singing is his, that's kind of what he does. Heath's more of an overall musician. He kind of does everything, and his vocal range is huge. He can do this. He can do the singing. He can do the screaming. Pretty much, he was able to do just about anything. And he was put into a kind of a shitty situation, quite frankly. And we're just so happy he came through for us. We're, as Brad said, we've been through some things with band members. Just having, we lost our best friend and lead guitarist, Mark Sheets, a couple years ago to cancer. So he wasn't able to be nearly as much a part of the writing of this as possible. But Dan just decided he wanted to go on to other things. He was older than us. He's a lot older than us. So Heath's an old friend, and we reached out to him. We were just blessed that he was able to do it.
Yeah, without hesitation.
Yeah.
He just jumped right on board and said he'd do it to honor Mark's memory, our other guitar player, and Obviously was friends with him anyways, and he loved metal. So he said, send him the music and some of the lyrics, and we did that, and he just went with it. We think he killed it. So
yeah, absolutely. Obviously had to produce it in the studio completely from scratch. He jumped in just having copies of the lyrics, and as I'm producing him, telling him, sing this here, that kind of thing. He's like, that's not the way I would have done it. That's interesting. And, obviously we took a lot, we took his, any direction that he wanted to give on that, but he really took to, being produced so well. It was just awesome working with him for someone who's, had only had the music and never actually heard the lyrics before, even what they were supposed to be. So he kind of did all that from scratch.
And he was inspired, and he's very proud of it. So that makes us very happy.
Oh, yeah.
Because he could have just done it to do it, but he's excited for the whole release and everything as well. So
yeah. And that happened less than a year ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of themes of overcoming tribulations. So aptly named, the album's name Scars, because that's a lot of the themes on the record, like overcoming hardships, and obviously what you guys went through, like losing members. Obviously, like this. This is your second album, and it's like almost a decade after the first one. Like changing singers, so you've been through the ringer. But what I like about the album is that it sounds like classic thrash, like older style metal, but we like a newer influence to it, because there's a lot of groove in the music. So the name of the band, Patchwork, is there a story behind the band name?
Yes. So when we first started out, we were trying to figure out what to name the band, and in the first originals we wrote, the singer at the time wrote some lyrics, and the lyrics he came up with was that we are all as humans. He had actually read some Henry Rollins literature, and Henry Rollins had talked about scar tissue is the strongest tissue there is in the human body, and it's just the strength in it, and it just kind of made him and inspired all of us for the name of, we're all part of our wounds in our life and things that have happened to us. And we all came together to form the band. And it's just like we're patchwork stitching. We're just knitted together through metal and through our brotherhood. And that's kind of where the name came from.
And there's kind of a dual meaning to it too. Life in general is kind of a patchwork of scars. If you think about it, we're all kind of products of our experiences. And that's kind of how the theme from the first album flowed into the second. So the first one was Exit Wounds, and the songs on that were really about the tragedies that we'd gone through individually in our lives. And some of the lyrics, Chris Johnson was our original singer, and he wrote some of those original lyrics, and they were really telling the story of where we had been and how we had gotten those exit wounds. Those tragedies leave an exit wound, and then this is the follow-up. This is those exit wounds. If you survive them, they turn into scars, and what happens then? And as you probably saw if you read some of the lyrics or listened to some of the lyrics, that are what happens after those exit wounds heal into scars is the emotional trauma that people go through, and how that manifests, and how it kind of manifests in our lives, and how we affect others as a result of what's just happened to us.
Yeah, so it's a great way also to use the music as a cathartic way to heal those type of scars and wounds. So I know you, Dave, you partly produced this second album with the help with co-producer Jason C. Talk a little bit about producing this.
Yeah. So the first album Jason produced and I co-produced. Actually, we recorded at TVR Studios in Rockford. And this album, we did the same, but we reversed roles a bit. He was primarily the recording engineer, and then he kind of inserted himself, using his extensive experience. He's been nominated for, I think, 2 Grammys over the years. So, really, really fortunate to work with him as often as we have. But we we wrote the album over the course of probably 6 years.
Yeah.
It goes back to 2019, 2018, possibly, when some of Brad's first riffs came out, and we got into the studio with that. As we're writing the album, I'm coming up with vocal patterns in my head. We're coming up with arrangements, and all of that just kind of happens in the studio from that point. They tell you, the one thing that Jason used to say is, I hate it when people write in the studio, but we kind of had to, because it was just me and Brad. We'd never practiced these songs as a band before. We practiced as a two-piece, guitar and drums. And, I play guitar too. So we were able to, write some harmony riffs and things like that. And, I wrote a decent chunk of the album as well. But the production was all around getting the right reamp tone. So Brad used his Marshall triple super lead in the first album, recording the first album. And we decided to go a little more digital with this one, just from the sense of, we figured if we could change our guitar tone a little bit, we'd see what else we could get. And that's what we did. So we reamped it, and we were able to get an even more kind of classic thrash sound. Mark used to say we stepped out of a time machine from 1988 right into wherever the hell we happened to be at that point in time, at least from a musical perspective. So the throwback is not only intentional, the throwback sound is not only intentional, but it's kind of all we know how to do. Yeah. I don't think we could ever, do Ginger or Spirit Box or Sleep Token or anything like that. As great as those guys are, we're stuck kind of in a way.
Yeah, stuck in the old school nostalgic metal, but it's what we enjoy playing. I mean, every time we pick up the guitars instrument, it's what comes out. The hard part about this one was Mark initially was going to be a part of the process, and then initially he had met someone that he fell in love with, and then they were going to have a baby. So, and he already lived an hour and a half away anyways. So then that kind of limited him from coming down to practice. So him and I kind of held off on writing anything, because we didn't want to not have him involved, because it was always us three. And then as time went on, Mark that wasn't really a priority, was coming down for that, understandably, because he had a baby, a son. So Dave and I, what are we going to do? We're going to not do anything, or let's just do it? And that's what we did. And it kind of threw a lot on me, because Mark was our lead guitar player as well. I did a couple leads on the first record, but I was just not a soloist at that time. So I kind of had to, knuckle down and learn how to play solos as well, with that pressure, along with Mark getting the diagnosis of cancer and passing away in that period of time too. So it ended up being something that we just had to get done. It wasn't even an option anymore after he got sick. And then the songs, and obviously the amazing lyrics that Dave wrote, were pretty, inspiring. So
the and how that translated into production was, we kind of had to just do one instrument at a time. That's usually what a lot of bands do, is they'll go and record the scratch tracks and then do one instrument at a time. And with this one, we recorded all of the guitars actually here, Scar Studio here, and then took them over to TVR, and then Jason would reamp those, and took some time to get the exact tones that we wanted. On each side, we've got different tone coming out of one side than we do the other. It's very Metallica throwback tones. That's kind of what got us all into metal in the first place, was that Ride the Lightning, Puppets, Justice type of guitar tone. So once we probably played with that almost a little too much, but once we got that down, I recorded the drums there, and then we got Lisa Sanchez to record the bass. Lisa's a good friend of Brad's, and she just did a phenomenal job. She came in
extremely talented.
It's just amazingly talented. She's played with a lot of bands out in LA, and she's found herself in the Midwest. So we got really lucky that she's here, and she really laid down some amazing bass tracks. Gave her free reign, play whatever you want. I think there was maybe one or two minor spots that I asked her to change, and that was it. And then from a vocal perspective, we did vocals last, and that was I thought it was going to be a lot more challenging than it was. Again, just going back, I can't say enough about Heath Gruner. He's just an unbelievable talent, an unbelievable vocalist, and a true professional. He was willing to do whatever we asked him to do, while giving great feedback. Well, what if we tried it this way? And a lot of times I would just trust his judgment and just say, do what you feel here, and he would just knock it out.
I was not even in the studio for 95% of the vocals and never heard vocal pattern. I saw the lyrics. Dave would send them to me after being in the studio with Heath, because I just kind of wanted to be like the new listener. I didn't want to be there for the process of this. So I just trusted what he heard in his head and then what Heath delivered. And I think there was only 2 parts, and out of all the songs, that I was like, oh, maybe he should do this differently. Otherwise, what he delivered and what Dave had him do, produced him in the studio, I was like, that's perfect. It's amazing. I didn't want to change anything. So that kind of just goes his talent along with, us being on the same page, what he heard in his head, vocal patterns and all these things, the arrangement is spot on with what I would have done. So it worked out very, very well.
So Dave, having lyrics and having someone else like seeing your lyrics, obviously I'm guessing you had like a way in mind that you wanted them to be sung, even though you're not a singer. So I'm guessing the singer took it well, because did you sit down and you explain to him like the lyrics, like what you were wanting to get out of him, or was there something that you sent him the lyrics and he came up with some way of singing in his own style?
No, I had very specific. There were 3 songs on there that I had very, very specific things that I wanted to hear. Well, 2 actually, Buried Alive and At the End. Those 2 were kind of almost non-negotiable, just because I was a butthead about it. But but At the End is, if you've heard At the End, that's kind of our magnum opus on that album, and that song is about Mark and what he went through and what we went through, and it had very, very strong meaning to us. But other than that, it was pretty open to whatever Heath wanted to do once we were in the studio. But he wanted to hear what we had in mind first, what I had in mind, and I can make notes come out of my mouth. I can't sing, but but I would sing everything basically an octave lower and terrible, and he would make it good and sing it in the actual octave needed. But that's kind of how we approached it, and we started with the hardest one first, Scars, because there's a lot of Pantera overlays there.
Not a single.
Not a single, no. We just felt there were stronger songs,
Yeah, I wrote right, like, why is that song not a single?
Why is that not a single? Well, I'm glad you like it. It sounds like you like it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Part of it is because we wanted to showcase the amazing talent that we had subbing in on some of those solos.
Yeah, some of the guest solos. Yeah.
The guest solos that we had, just some heroes of ours, Craig and Michael and Bobby and just
Dallas.
Yeah. Dallas on a couple of them. We had to pick and choose with Dallas, because he did guitars on the long instrumental on the album Bitter Truth. But and that also speaks to Heath's total lack of ego and amazing professionalism. Is when that came out as a single, he helped support that as a single, even though he wasn't the one singing on it when we came out with Divide.
Yeah.
And that was, he realized it was absolutely nothing personal at all. We were just trying to showcase Dallas on something, and wherever we showcased Dallas, Heath wasn't going to be singing on it. Either Dallas was singing or playing guitar or instrumentals. So
I wrote Divide more like because I like death metal as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so just kind of that's my death metal influence is those riffs, and it's drop C tuning and all that. And then we initially were trying to figure out what we could do vocally with it, and just not that Heath couldn't have delivered, but initially just the range, like a higher range, wasn't going to work. And we talked like, man, should we just? It's so death metal. Should I just ask Dallas? And I asked Dallas, told her Wade if he would do it, and he's like, "Hell yeah, man! I'll give it a shot." And he'll send it over, and I'll throw give me the lyrics, and Dave wrote some notes like, "This is where I hear this between this spot and this spot, and do what you can with it." And he sent it back over, and it was just freaking crushing.
Spot on.
Yeah. So we got our one death metal song on there with amazing Dallas Toller Wade doing vocals.
Yeah.
He's just
have like at least one death metal song. And I was here thinking, like, maybe you didn't show Scars as a single because every time you Google it, you get that Papa Roach song.
That's a really good guess.
Yes.
That's a really good guess. Yeah, no one would have found Patchwork Scars. That's
Yeah, that's gonna be the top. So like people are gonna be thinking like, no, it's not a Papa Roach cover.
Right.
No. So here's the reasoning behind it is the first one we released was the Vulture, and that one was important to us because it kind of shows everything, a little bit of everything in there. It starts out kind of heavy and fast, and then it goes into the kind of lighter acoustic part, and then it ends strong as well. But Mark wrote those lyrics. That's Mark's main contribution to the album. So we felt we had to lead with that one.
That's a great.
Thank you. Fallout. We did Fallout because that's Bobby Gustafson. Bobby did 2 songs on there. He did that one and Buried Alive.
The solos.
The solos, yeah. Sorry, just the solos. I'm sorry. You muted there.
Oh, I had a question about Fallout.
Please.
Oh, go ahead.
Is it not inspired by the video game?
Is it?
The title was. The title absolutely was. Yeah, I'm a huge Fallout fan. I've played all of them.
I know there's a series, but I haven't seen it yet.
He's a gamer.
I'm a gamer. Yeah, that the TV series sticks real close to the game. So if you like the games, you'll like it.
I think it's on Amazon. I'll have to watch it because I haven't seen the series. But the Vulture, I'm glad that you have like acoustic guitars because I think that's something in metal like now, like it's frowned upon or something. And if you listen to those classic Metallica albums and Testament, they had acoustic guitars, like puppets. In the middle, you have that great part where it goes like more acoustic, and it gives more weight to them when they go heavy again.
Yeah, and that was actually a product of the 3 of us in the studio, me, Brad, and Jason, and we had kind of just like a little bend part going on there. We weren't entirely sure what we were going to do, and they said, "Dave, go home and write an acoustic part." Mm-hmm. So I came back the next day with an acoustic part recorded. That's what's on the album. And then Brad threw solo over that, and we threw some stuff behind it too.
It's actually Justin Roth from Workhorse, obviously. You've interviewed Justin. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine too. When the Vulture came out, I asked him what he thought of it as a single, and he goes, to be honest with you, my favorite part, it's a killer song, but my favorite part of the song is the acoustic part in the solo, and then when it builds up. So that's interesting that you said that too. But like you said, we don't want to be 100 miles an hour the whole time. We want to have some layers to the songs.
Even though we did end up doing that in a lot of the songs. It was this album was kind of designed to be a little bit more straightforward. It's not Rain and Blood, but it's more, there's not as many changes as the first album. We do another one we talked about making it a lot more progressive probably and having a lot more of those changes in there. This one we in a lot of ways we wanted to plow forward, but we can't get the progressive metal side out of us, out of our system. So we had to do something like that. But the other ones all, they all had, we released Skies and Flames. Michael Gilbert did the solo on that one. And that's kind of the slowest song that we have on the album, the most maybe mainstream accessible type song. At the End is going to be coming out here pretty soon. We're going to release At the End as a single with a lyric video to it on Friday when the album drops. And, Craig and Lum did the solos on that.
Yeah.
And we had to go back to the well with him actually because he did the first part of the solo on there, and then we realized, we wrote the second part with the solo on top of it. We need someone else to do that, and Brad's like, well, we need to have Craig do it because it would be disrespectful to have somebody else do a solo right after Craig like that. So he contributed a couple times to that same song. But yeah, what was the other single we had?
Skies and Flames, Divide, Fall.
Divide, yeah, okay, and we already talked about Divide. Yep. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, we were trying to showcase people besides just us,
Yeah,
so that's the reason Scars didn't make it as a single.
No, maybe next time. But it's cool that you know Justin. Yeah, Justin has been on the channel lots of times.
Yeah. And he loves being on your show. He said he loves doing your podcast. He told me. He said it's one of his favorite. Probably shouldn't say that, but it's one of his favorite.
He's being on my series. Is it that bad?
Yeah.
We talk about bad albums.
Oh yeah, yep. I've seen a lot of those.
It's really fun until maybe like what I'm thinking. Maybe like at least what if I review someone and I meet them down on the street?
Justin, as you know, Justin doesn't care. Justin's like,
no, Justin told me that.
Like me, he's very unfiltered.
And I'll be on the panel. I'll roast myself, but hopefully, if I meet Wes Cantling from Puddle of Mud one day, I'll get to tell him to his face that I think that his album sucks. I feel like there's been like a resurgence in thrash metal. There's you have the Workers. There's another band that's putting out an album this Friday that I interviewed from somewhere, I think West Virginia, called Executionists, which are very, very young dudes. So it's good to see thrash metal. Obviously, Warbringer released an album here that I enjoyed. I don't know what's happened with Havoc, but yeah, many bands, and now you guys are releasing. So I think like there's a resurgence, and people get the big four, they're great, but like Slayer is no more. Dave Mustaine is kind of crazy, and Anthrax has been promising. I've been waiting for that new Anthrax album like for 9 years as well. And Metallica's Metallica, but it's good to have like newer blood. So talking about thrash metal, like growing up for you guys, which was your like thrash metal album like to go? Like the one that you said this was my favorite.
Master Puppets.
Yeah, it's one of the only albums in our opinion that you could say start to finish. There's nothing you would fast forward. There's no riff you would remove. There's nothing you would change.
Production still stands to this day.
It's just perfect start to finish. I mean, there are other albums too, but that's the one obviously that just kind of stands out in our head.
Yeah, our favorites are, in the jam room, I have a framed when LPs got popular again. Rain and Blood, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, Among the Living, and Master Puppets. I have them all framed. Those are the four inspirations for me personally in those times, and him as well. He got into a lot of hell of a year. Yeah, he got into a lot of Fates Warning and stuff, and then he got into Rush and stuff like that. But back then, it's those four albums is life changing.
Yeah, they were huge.
Among the Living is great. So yeah, I want to show the artwork of the record so we can talk about the artwork. Obviously, which is a pretty cool artwork. And you know what? When I was looking at this artwork first, I thought like, maybe it's gonna be like because it looks like a death metal thing, but it's thrash metal. So tell me a little bit about obviously what you were going for with the artwork.
So with the artwork, we kind of gave the artist free reign to give us. He also redesigned our logo, but we really wanted to capture kind of again what Mark was going through. Some of it was we really didn't get into the emotional side too much with Scars. It was really we had front and center the physical scars of what cancer does to people. Just how much it takes out of you, how the solution is almost, the cure is almost worse than the disease to a great extent. and that's kind of what that is, you know, you're wearing part of you on the outside, while what you're hiding inside is just, you know, extreme physical pain.
And it was when basically when Mark was kind of first aware, and I think he went through his first surgery, and he was still, we weren't sure what's going on, and still could be fine and all these things. And then so we sent the ideas to Jorge Vimendi.
Yeah, Vimendi.
And which Rodney Palmer, who's drummer of Malevolent, drummer of Perdition Temple,
Did the solo on Divide.
He's just an amazing musician. He has his own band, Blood Messiah, where he does everything except vocals. But he referred me to Jorge, and he's in Chile, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. And just told him the ideas. Never met him before, and told Jorge the ideas, and he came back basically with a rough draft of what you're looking at. And he knew about the cancer and all these things. And then if you look, what he said was that the skull is still attached to the back, and those are the scar tissue all around as he's pulling it away. And that's your past, that everybody's trying to get away from your past, but it's always part of you. Those are your scars. And then if you see the center, that's basically...
You're pointing at the screen like you can see.
Oh, sorry. At the center of his back there inside, that's basically like, we looked at that like, that's holy shit, that's like the cancer it was in Mark. So it's really, really deep how he nailed it as well.
Yeah. Jorge did a great job just kind of nailing all the different aspects of what we were trying to go for.
And that's Sick Graphics Production, I think it's called. Yep. But he did amazing.
No, it is a great artwork, and it really captures the and now obviously knowing the story about happened. And I can cancer, like my grandfather died of cancer, and right now I have a friend that I do like a lot of like videos with, Señorita Sabrosura, who's going her own battle with her. So yeah, it's hoping her the best wishes for her. But yeah,
absolutely.
Something like that. It's a disease that hopefully like we could find a cure sometime, like something like to prevent it, because it's so bad and it doesn't discriminate
at all. You're right.
Yeah,
that's awful.
But let's talk. The people, we don't want to bump people here. We were bummed watching. We can talk about fun stuff too.
Click the link below for Kleenex.
We'll be like on this very special episode of Blossom. we're dating ourselves. People will be like, young people are like, what the fuck is Blossom?
All right. Yes, we are old.
Yes, we are definitely old.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's just a number. So the album, like we've talked about almost all the songs that I wanted to talk about. I put like a lot of like the singles. So Dave, you're a gamer as well. Do you still have time to play video games? Because I used to play video games, but I don't have time now.
No, not these days. I had definitely to put that on hold while I was producing the album. I found a little bit of time here and there prior to going into the studio, and in between, I had a minor procedure done back in 2022 where I had a stent put in, and I had some downtime then. I was able to play some video games, but other than that, I think I got 2/3 of the way through Baldur's Gate 3, and that's the last that I've done of anything. So yeah, not a lot of time. I usually stick to role-playing games and stuff like that anyway, so
Didn't you say you spent New Year's though playing with your Dante and
I did. Yeah, that's true. I did spend New Year's playing with my sons online, so that was fun. One still lives with me; he's in college, and then the other one is married with my grandsons and down in Florida, a long way away from me. So, thank God for the internet.
Yeah. So this year for Fresh, another band that I forgot that I actually interviewed the drummer, Sacrifice from Canada. Got a kick-ass album at the beginning of this year. So this year I've seen there's some solid thrash. It's like the year of thrash and metalcore.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Make 2025 another 1986.
Yeah, last year it was more death metal releases, but this year has been thrash and metalcore for some reason. So yeah, that's what like there's been a lot of those type of music put out. So, but the good thing about like playing now a lot of video games are being turned into shows, like The Last of Us, and it's funny that people get upset when a character dies. I'm like, duh, you knew if you played the video game.
Yeah.
Like,
you saw this coming.
Yeah. People are, why did you do it? I'm like, you're just following the script from the video game.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. I see a lot of people get upset about little things on TV adaptations. And a lot of that's because whoever directs them, and I'm sure you've probably seen it too, a lot of the directors are like, well, I'm not going to stick to the source material. I'm going to go my own direction and do my own thing. It ends up pissing off a lot of people that, that they were hoping to see these specific things. That's why I mentioned about Fallout. It stays real close to the games themselves. It goes its own direction a little bit, but it never goes out of bounds.
Yeah, I gotta watch that show. But there's some others. There's some that work, and then there's that god awful Minecraft movie that people love, but it's pure trash, man.
Yeah.
I
think my daughters tried to watch it and they
couldn't get through it. Yeah, my kids too couldn't get through it.
When I saw that movie in the movie theater, it was before that trend of throwing the popcorn and everything, and nobody popcorn here in Puerto Rico. But I don't know. Here in Puerto Rico, maybe some of the people that work in the movie theater can actually kick your ass if you do that.
Popcorn's expensive here, man. You don't want to throw that. That's throwing real money away.
A combo of like a popcorn and a soda is like $20. So
crazy.
I'm gonna eat every last popcorn.
Every last kernel, exactly.
I was just down in Puerto Rico 6 weeks ago for a week in Dorado.
Oh, you were in Dorado, yeah. How do you enjoy Dorado?
Oh, loved it. It was great. We were right by the beach there. We had a little Airbnb, me and my wife, and first time there. And Lisa, our bass player, she's actually from Puerto Rico too. So it was nice. Kind of had the, through text message when we were there, everybody told me where to go, where not to go, what to get as far as food. And so it was a really nice trip. Very nice people and very good food. It was just, I can't remember. They serve it in the bowl down there?
Mofongo.
Mofongo? Yesterday.
10. I think we had it 10 times and we were only there 5 days. My wife and I. It was so rich and unreal and just tasted, and we craved it every day. It was so good.
Yeah, the good thing about mofongo is that you can have it with, like, I had a mofongo yesterday with octopus. So,
yeah.
Because I only tried to cook an octopus once in my life, and this is I saw a YouTube video, and I'm like, I got this shit, and I bought a whole octopus, and I tried to make it, and it got. If you don't cook octopus well, it's like very rubbery.
Yeah.
I had to order a pizza. I had to throw the whole fucking octopus away.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So
my family's Sicilian, so we, we'll have squid and octopus and stuff like that too. And I wouldn't even try cooking it. You got more guts than I do, man.
No. I'm never gonna cook it again. I'm like, no, I'll in some other places. So yeah, if you guys come to if you ever play in Puerto Rico, I can let you know more other places to go. But yeah, food here is great, and also the coffee.
Oh yeah, yes, very good.
Once you taste the coffee, like when I lived in Miami, I missed the Puerto Rican coffee.
Because the pastries too. The pastry down there, oh, so good.
Yes.
Dessert.
And we have good pastries here, where we call them panaderias. So
yes.
Yeah, call them, but some are getting very pricey. Life is getting too expensive. Like the other day, I had a like a ham and an egg sandwich in a place, and it costs $15 just a sandwich.
That's crazy.
This is a sandwich. I'm like, and it wasn't even that good. I was so like,
the egg was probably $12.
yeah, back in time you would have paid like $3.95 for that, and it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah. Uh, Also, something that I like about your album is that you didn't fall in that. There's a lot of like thrash metal bands now talking about like technology and technology is taking all over. It's cool, but come on, it's good that you didn't like tackle that subject because now everyone's obsessed with technology. And I just tell like just watch if you watch those movies from the 80s and paid attention, we wouldn't be talking about AI.
Oh my God, yeah. By far one of my favorite albums, and this is one reason why I didn't write anything about technology in the album, besides the fact that, as you mentioned, it's supposed to be cathartic for us. That's the word we use all the time when we discuss it. Allegiant, Proponents for Sentience. One of my all-time favorite albums, and just start to finish, it's just such a journey. There's no way I could possibly improve on that.
Oh, they're good at writing those concepts.
Oh, yeah. So
their new song is really good too. I can't remember the name.
Yeah. So their stuff is good too, but
on the channel.
What's that?
I talked to the singer for Allegiant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about that crazy stuff. So once your album is out, like, are you planning to do some live shows? Like, what's next for Patchwork?
That's the big question mark. We've gotten asked quite a bit. Everybody kind of wants to know. It's just, it would be a process to do. I mean, Heath would love to. He could pull it off. Lisa, she could pull it off. Obviously it's two guitar. The riffs are mostly two guitar riffs with harmonies, and then you need two guitar players anyways for solos and all this stuff. So it would definitely be a process for me to show somebody, all the songs and all the, different aspects of the song. And then for us to be able to get it tight enough to where we'd be proud enough to take it out live. But it's not off the table at all. It'd just be, Mark having left us, that was the other guitar player. So, but as close as we have to a ready process with Heath and Lisa are definitely ready, and they would love to do live shows. So it's not off the table.
Yeah, the intention when we wrote it was not to. So it allowed us to take some liberties that you would only do during the recording process. But again, Pantera was notorious. You hear the layered vocals that Phil would sing the end of a line over the beginning of the next line, that type of thing. They pulled it off live like crazy. Yeah. So it sounds different, obviously, but it can be done. Obviously, not that we're anywhere near Pantera, but it was just kind of the same thought process as we were writing the songs. It's we'll probably never get a chance to play this stuff live, so let's just go ahead and go a little crazy with it. And like Brad said, it would take some doing to get us to that point. If we had enough people who said, yes, we'd like to see you live. Mm-hmm. The area where we are isn't a big thrash area. There's definitely like a small core of fans that really love thrash around here. We'd have to go up into Wisconsin or, east in Indiana. Last year we played in 2015 was like Louisville. There's definitely some places that like thrash. And if we get asked enough, then yeah, I think like Brad said, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
We were offered to play a festival in Europe with Exit Wounds, remember?
That's true.
But it was like a short notice, and it would have just been, the logistics would have been too hard. It would have been really hard to do. That was the first record. So I mean, obviously, this style of music is so popular in Europe and other countries, rather than, not that it's not popular here, but the people that actually physically go out and see shows are more into the newer metal and now whatever the hip hop noise is or whatever. whatever you want to call it. But so yeah, if the demand is there,
We'd figure out a way.
So by talking with you guys, I know you are not the guys behind Sleep Token. Because you mentioned Sleep Token at the beginning. I have a theory that Sleep Token is actually Limp Bizkit.
oh
Damn.
yeah, Limp Bizkit opening up for Metallica on this run of shows too. It's like
No, I know it's
Pantera one night, Suicidal, and then
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
I love Limp Bizkit. I think they're a fun band. I don't.
Right.
But you know, Brad, has anyone ever told you that you look like a nicer Kerry King?
A nicer Kerry King.
Oh, I like that.
I've got a lot of comments because of my eyebrows. Like I got that mean eyebrow look. My dad had it. My brother has it. Everybody says I always look pissed off until they meet me and then they realize, oh, he is pissed off. No.
And you're still nicer than
Yeah,
Kerry King.
but yeah, so Kerry's got that like
Kerry King, like he's mad at everything.
Yeah.
Like he will go order something, like always mad. I'm like, I don't know if
awful.
he lost his hair, happened, but he's always mad for something.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
And it's funny because that Kerry King record and the people, oh, this is the best thing. I'm like, it's like Slayer like.
Yes. Yep. That's what it is. I'm fine with it personally. I love Slayer, so
we love Death Angel. We love Mark Oskey.
Oh
yeah,
definitely great book.
Stay in your lane. You know, it's like I think Mark should. It's great. I mean, it's definitely metal. It sounds, the riffs are great and everything, and Phil Demo's amazing, and it's definitely cool. But Mark belongs in Death Angel, and Kerry belongs in Slayer.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So Death Angel, that's a band that's put out some great
absolutely.
Yeah. So for now it's baby steps. The record is going to be out Friday. Is it going to be digitally or are there some physical copy CDs?
We're going to do CDs. That's probably going to be a few weeks before they're ready. We will do CDs. Digitally, it'll be available through all streaming outlets: Amazon, YouTube Music, iTunes, Spotify. There's, we use DistroKid, and they push to 40 different distribution points out there. So it'll be at all of those. But yeah, we're going to try to get CDs out here. We're old school purists when it comes to physical media. We like holding the CD in our hands and reading the liner notes and reading the lyrics, and that's primarily how we plan on releasing the lyrics. What's that?
I like smelling the booklet when it's like new, smells fresh.
Yeah. Well, and the layout of the songs, we still did it old school. We didn't, we sat down, he kind of put it together, and I mean, just like the vocal patterns and all this stuff, it was kind of Dave's vision vocally, and same thing with a lot of the song titles, and then laying out the record. I mean, we have an intro on the record, so we already knew that was going to be the intro. And then, but what's the next song? And then what's the next song? And how's it going to end? So that all kind of happened, and it was his vision. And I think maybe we moved one song differently, but we're always on the same page mentally with the stuff. It's kind of in our DNA. So we would like, it kind of was laid out.
Yeah, it
was in a certain order.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, people don't listen to records that way anymore. But we would love for somebody to buy a CD and listen to it from the beginning to the end, and get the whole experience.
I'm old.
Yeah.
I like the experience of listening to an album from beginning to end, unless the album is atrocious. But
right.
We're glad you like it.
No. I liked it. Unless it's total mud. But no, I listening to it in sequence, even though I don't know if they put any like detail into sequencing in that. But yeah, it's good to have because everything's like singles now. But I think like it's good to like have that album experience. So I'll post the link for people who want to follow the band, maybe pre-order. I'm guessing band. Or where are you most active? Instagram?
Probably Facebook is where we're most active socially. Facebook, or
Yeah.
Brad's trying to keep up our Instagram. I know it's more popular than Facebook, and I hear a lot of shit about Facebook being for old people, but fuck, we're old. I mean,
Right.
so
And they can
Cool.
friend request us, and we'll accept unless we see some weird, crazy stuff where we probably shouldn't.
yeah.
We'll reply, and if there's if there's a demand for shows and there's demand for physical copies or merch, we definitely can make it happen. So
You always know in Facebook if it's a bot, if it's like a picture of like a really super attractive woman and she has like no friends, you're like,
Or all guy friends.
right.
oh, guys, like, ooh, because I've had those, like, ooh, you're so attractive. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, ooh, like, message me. I'm so lonely. I'm like,
Right.
it's funny that people fall for that shit in 2025.
It is funny. I agree. It was sad at one point, and now it's funny. I agree.
It's like, come on, like, well, I just saw today on the news. I saw the Daily Show about a guy that has an AI girlfriend and a real actual girlfriend. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think I saw that. I saw that as well. Yes.
Wow.
Got an AI girlfriend and then another.
So his real girlfriend pisses him off and he goes and talks
Well,
to
he
the
was
AI
like-
girlfriend? Or?
And they're asking her, the real girlfriend, like, is it weird for you? Do you get jealous of the AI? And it's like, no, not really. It's like, what the hell is going on in the world right
It's going to get worse.
He needs someone to talk to. And I'm like, bitch, that's where.
Oh, shit.
That's funny.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you know what's going to get worse from here?
No. Like, if I have a son and a daughter, if my son comes to me and he's like, I got a girlfriend, I'm going to beat the crap out of him.
That's the front and the back.
like, no AI shit. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like you like. I feel like all sci-fi movies are coming to reality, like Blade Runner. All this stuff is like it's happening. People building robots. I'm like, no. So it's been great talking to you. So Patchwork, the album Scars, is going to be out this Friday, May 16th, like digitally, and watch the socials to see when the physical stuff is gonna be there. So before I let you guys go, anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
Just appreciate all the support, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it, and you get the experience that you're hoping for listening to it. So
Yeah. And next time, if you come to Puerto Rico, we'll go out and eat some mofongo.
absolutely.
Yeah. And because it's great food. So Couchers, you heard it here. Patchwork, Scars, out now. Support more underground metal bands. So because you know what, we need to support newer bands, and in case we're not newer, but support bands that are not the top 4 of thrash metal, because like there's more music out there, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch.
See you later. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Hector.
And goodbye.